What up, tribe? What's going on? I wanted to check in to talk about Mr. Kyrie Irving and the decision of the Brooklyn Nets to suspend him without pay indefinitely until he complies with the vaccination laws in New York City. Hmm. Well, Kyrie, it's according to the law, he could not play any home games uh, for Brooklyn, but he could play away games. And they wanted to crack the whip and say, we're going to take it even a step further. So you get nothing until you do what we ask you to do, right? Or what we demand of you. And I'm watching the fallout. And I've been watching this play out for, the past month or so. Today, as in last night, Kyrie finally released the video and he finally spoke on it himself, which I thought was amazing because so many journalists, particularly Black journalists, had come out against him and against his stance. All of them, a lot of them I respect. And all of the Black journalists, sports journalists, have come out against Kyrie. If you know a Black sports journalist on a major network that is in support of Kyrie and has come out in support of Kyrie, then let me know in the comments. But I was thinking about that. I was from Shaquille O'Neal to Bomani Jones, who I really like, to Monica McNutt, even the lesser known people, to the young lady. Her name is L. Duncan. I had never heard of her, but she went on Bomani Jones' podcast and was basically like, he's stupid, and just was going all off. And so here's what I was thinking in regard to the approach of these journalists, right? So you mean to tell me this issue, as controversial as it is, as divisive as this issue is, all of these Black journalists for ESPN and TBS and all these networks, they're all against him. All of them? It made me think, maybe, maybe it's come down from up high. They get the point that to support Kyrie's stance would be a bad deal for them. And maybe, like Kyrie said, perhaps they are puppets, right? Perhaps they are given a script. And I think about when we were on a lockdown and there were no sports, right? The Kentucky Derby got, this is in 2020, right? They banned March Madness and just all sports, right? They just, everything was at a standstill and we're supposed to stay inside and all that. They still, those sports shows never stopped, right? So Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman were debating about who's the most ferocious heavyweight of all time, right? And the Kobe, LeBron, Michael Jordan debate, who's the best basketball player? And they pick all these things to talk about and things in which they have to choose a side. Take all those journalists that I previously named and just put something out there. What is the greatest catch of all time in football? And you'll have five different opinions, right? Who was the better receiver? Michael Irvin or Michael Irvin or Randy Moss, right? And then, and they'll have, multiple different opinions of, well, who would you rather play with? Who would you rather have on your team? And then they'll have different opinions around that. These shows are debate shows. They debate who's going to win, who's going to be in the NBA finals out of the East, who's going to be in the NBA finals out of the West. And they go on for an hour. On the podcast, they go on for several hours about these topics. They invite other people in to respectfully disagree about these topics. All of that is inconsequential. Now, when it comes to a topic that could benefit humanity, that could validate some people and inform other people, when it comes to a debate that could save lives and make people less anxious and make people believe in the news that they are receiving, when it comes to something like that about the vaccine, everybody chooses one side. How 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 ridiculous is it that Disney, this corporation built on fantasy and you know, making the childhood magical and then bringing childhood back to adults, right? That same entity owns ESPN. So they own all of the conversations that we hear about sports, are owned by the same people that brought you Donald Duck and Mickey Mouse. And we're expecting to have real honest dialogue on these networks. Have we been led astray? Have we been lied to all of these years? And now these lies are really becoming exposed. I mean, the country is totally divided over this issue. But think about this, all of the opinions that you see on these networks, every single person only takes one side. Listen, I want to go back to I was all right. So I don't even want to make this video too long, man. I'm gonna wrap this thing up, man. I'm gonna wrap this thing up. But I was a child in the 80s. One of the first major historical events that I can remember was the fall of the Berlin Wall. I didn't quite understand it at the time, right? And I became like, oh, that symbolizes the fall of communism. We beat the Russians, right? And so I was an inquisitive kid. I went around asking adults, like, why are we fighting the Russians and communism? And what makes that so bad? I was asking teachers and community members. I asked this question several times. And one thing that kept coming up was, well, in Russia, the government controls everything. In the United States, we have freedom of press and we have free speech. So we can say what we want to say, and our newspapers and our TV stations, they aren't owned by the government. So you have people that can say things that, offer up critical thinking and offer up different opinions that the government might not like, but that's what makes this democracy better than communism. Imagine that. Imagine that being taught to me as a child, that communism is bad because the government controls everything that people say. The government controls the press. Here we are, 2021, and it seems as though our government is controlling everything that the people say and everything that we hear regarding all of the issues that actually matter. Okay. I'm not talking about, who was the greatest running back of all time, or Floyd Mayweather, or Sugar Ray Leonard. None of those things, but on issues that really matter as they pertain to sports, they're not allowed to really discuss it, right? They're not allowed to give you both sides. At that point, they become employees of Disney, and they're just carrying out a fantasy. And it's really dangerous. I just want to say this. Um, hey, even people, doesn't matter your status, whether you're vaccinated or you are not vaccinated, we all need to be very concerned about the way in which this company is headed. I'm sorry, not this company. Well, basically, it's a Freudian slip, right? But the way in which this country is headed. and we all need to be asking questions. And at some point, we really need to ask for accountability, and we really need to be having some healthy dialogue, because you're not going to bully people or shame people, or call people stupid, or Shaq say he didn't take his ass home like that. Like, that's not going to work with grown adults. Okay, so we need to really seriously have some dialogue, and until that point, we are not going to go anywhere. We're not going to get anywhere. The numbers are not going to, no matter how much you fudge the numbers, it's it's not, this is, all jokes aside, like, this is not going to end well. Like, this is absolutely not going to end well. So respect to Kyrie. I really hope that you hold your ground. And I know you got a new baby on the way, man. And just respect, man. Respect to Kyrie. And yeah, man, let me know. Let me know how you all feel, please. Drop something in the comments. Go ahead and like this. And of course, you know what it is. Subscribe to the tribe. You dig? Peace, tribe. And another.